not seen before. And there's always a newness in communion if we allow ourselves to be open to what it's all about. Next week, I'm going to talk about why we, as the churches of God, call communion an ordinance instead of a sacrament. But today, I'd like to share with you, sacrament means commitment. A commitment. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, 23 through 36. And I know I told you 2 Corinthians.
He told me to toss a coin, so I was trying to decide if I was a typo or not.
My mistake. I'm willing to admit to some mistakes. That I will. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, 23 through 26. For I received from the Lord what I also pass on to you. The Lord Jesus, on the night he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and said, "This is my body, which is for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, after supper, he took the cup, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood. Do this whenever you drink it in remembrance of me. For whenever you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes." We'll stop right there. Why communion? Why do we have communion? Why do we do it? You see, the very first thing we do in communion is remember. It brings us to remembrance. Remembering. Let me give you a little illustration. Nathan Hale. How many of you have ever heard of Nathan Hale? The older folk. Nathan Hale was a young man who was very prospective for a happy and fulfilling life. He was well educated. He was a Yale graduate. And in the year that he lived, very few went to college. He had a vivid remembrance, and he married by his acquaintances even 60 years after his death. Accounts from classmates, friends, relatives, fellow soldiers, teachers, students, all say that he was kind, gentle, religious, athletic, intelligent, good-looking, and as one contemporary testified, an idol of all his acquaintances. In 1775, Hale accepted commission of first lieutenant in the Connecticut Regiment and later served under Washington as commander of a ranger company whose mission was forward reconnaissance. One evening in September of 1776, he was captured as a spy. After making a spirited speech to those few who were there, the former school teacher, Yale graduate, was executed by the hanging. What a horrible fate to one of his time and class. Upon his hanging, he spoke the words, "I regret that I have but one life to give for my country." The author of the book continues to read, "An insignificant school teacher who never wrote anything important, never owned any property, never had a permanent job, never married or had children, never fought in a battle, who failed in his final mission, made history in the last few seconds of his life." There's a very familiar ring to this. Jesus, who was kind, gentle, religious, who never personally wrote anything important, had nowhere to lay his head, never married or had children, who in the words